Hello everyone, this is Scramble from Emotionless Crypto Trading, and today we're going to discuss about SEC Ethereum security, right? So there is a lot of conversation around. YouTube specialists, lawyers, everyone has an opinion. Let's just get into it. I'm trying to put these things step by step, and I'm not going to waste your time nor my time within this video, right? So we have searched for official information that if there is a meeting today or not, because that's what this media says. We went over their official websites, SEC, in order to find out if there is anything announced. Now, if it's public or not, that doesn't matter. It needs to be announced that it's an existing meeting going on, even if it's public or not, right? So there might be some discussion behind the doors, like I said, but it needs to be announced publicly that there's going to be a private discussion. This is the way it's pretty much set up, right? So there is nothing on this website right here. On the other one as well, there is nothing around this specific regulatory issue around Ethereum, if it's a security or not. On the other side, we do want to talk about this media, which is kind of the place from where we were able to get all this FUD, right? Because the market is taking a hit. A lot of the cryptos are going on bloodbath today, and it's not just today. Over the last 24 hours, we were facing a large selling pressure. We're going to see that from the technical side as well, that how this thing is pretty much just orchestrated for us to keep selling, and create better prices for the whales to buy into, or for the ones controlling the market. Usually they're just whales, they're not little fishes, right? So getting back to our talk, it might be a security or not, who cares about that right now? There is another discussion, because this is pretty much irrelevant, and I'll explain you why. The idea is that you never know how they want or how they need to see Ethereum. What I mean by they is how SEC need to see Ethereum as a security or not. They need to see this in a way and then look in order to kind of cover themselves with specific parts of the law, right? So it's something that you do, and after that you just find some details to justify your decision, not trying to find a law and decide based on that, right? So it's kind of a political issue here that's scaled at those levels for sure, because there's a lot of billions involved, and thinking about a future, even more billions of dollars from and with Ethereum in the market. On the other side, we do have to make sure that the scenario put out by the media, cryptocurrency websites, YouTubers, bloggers, influencers all around Instagram and other forums and all these things is just disastrous, right? Everyone was talking about that if SEC is going to see Ethereum as a security, the price will crash that hard that it's going to take years to recover till the current stage, right? That's how they put it all. Everyone is just like that. So the bubble of FUD has been prepared and built quite powerfully. This is what I do understand from a scenario where a lot of the people talks about the same in a disastrous way as a conclusion, right? So Ethereum is having their majority of holders outside of United States, which is pretty clear and pretty public. On the other side, SEC is not talking for the entire world. It's just for United States. It's not global at all. Even though some people, especially from United States, they believe that SEC is kind of controlling everything what is all around the crypto space for the entire world. Now, for sure, if they're thinking like that, the mistake is right there. On the other side, we do have to understand the fact that if they are going to block you by acquiring, by purchasing, which is something they cannot actually physically do, you can buy Ethereum, you can exchange other cryptos, and you can get this token because there is free access, worldwide free access to this token. You can hold it. There is no way for them to take your Ethereum out of your address. There is no way for them to block you from acquiring or purchasing Ethereum for sure, right? So SEC is gonna have difficult time giving it as a security as of right now, if there is any sort of discussion about this, because we don't have any official announcement that there would be any sort of discussion about this topic, right? Which is something, that's why it could drive us to the idea that it could be a FUD orchestrated by the media. And we all know that the media is kind of controlled by the whales, by the money, right? So we have to be careful around these things. Nobody can stop you from buying Ethereum, no matter from where you are. And you know, it's clear that the scenario that has been built around this issue, around this possible issue, actually there is no issue at all, as long as they would see it now or in the future as a security. The price of Ethereum in United States will pretty much go pretty high, because it's going to be more and more difficult to be purchased, and that's how regular Joe thinks about it. As you know, all the exchanges that will work with United States members will close the trading between Ethereum and other cryptos for United States members, for United States citizens, right? So they'll try to stop you. Therefore, the price would try to go parabolically, which is a good deal. I do believe that. Now, on the other side, it's even better, because they can't really stop you from getting Ethereum. They can't really do that. There's a lot of ways, dozens and dozens of ways on how to get Ethereum today, even if you are from United States. And it's not like you can't join an ICO, or, you know, comparing it to the ICO case scenario where people from citizens of United States cannot participate in the majority of the ICOs, because you need to verify your participation with your documents, identity documents. Right here, to buy from so many exchanges, you don't need to do any sort of verifications on the Ethereum side, right? And it's having a lot of volume against the BTC on majority places where you don't need to do any verification of your identity. So there's good places from where you can acquire Ethereum. But I don't think we're going to reach there, as right now there is no official announcement about this meeting, or it might happen behind the doors. But like I said, there needs to be some public details about it, right? So let's just head over to technical analysis and talk about this a little bit. 2-hour candlestick, Ethereum paired up with $1, Bitfinex exchange. Currently, I do see a pattern here, and I do see a huge red line in the volume that did not happen even in the last months. Can you see this red line over there? This is insanely high. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to share with you, by scrolling or zooming out a little bit, that we don't have such a big line in a while. Just look at that. I mean, I'm just going to put that blue line, which is exactly hitting the top of the volume, the selling pressure for the Ethereum. Have you seen any sort of selling pressure? Do you see any sort of red lines getting close, at least, to our very high position that happening right now, very high volume which happening right now? Because I don't see anything like that. And this is purely orchestrated. Like I've said, there is nothing like that. If we just go back and scroll out even more, there is no insanely huge line like that in the last few months of history for the Ethereum. And I'm sure probably we could even go back for a year, because we're not going to have any sort of selling pressure like that on such a high volume, right? In a very short period of time. 2 hours basically for each candlestick. Insanely high selling pressure applied specifically at that time. Look at this. Great. We have seen that it's possible for them to create a snowball effect and have the market going down the way quite aggressively for a long period of time which just happened from the beginning of this year. We were going for about 3 months on a downtrending environment, which always have been fueled by the whales when they needed to sell powerfully and break some support lines. That's when they done it, right? So that's the time they are putting the pressure, when the breakout of the support line is needed for them, and then people start selling more and more. So the price is just crashing, right? So they perfectly know when they need to sell and put pressure. It's not in the middle of nowhere. Good. Another detail is we do have some great support around $710 area for the Ethereum, which is around this specific line, as well as our uptrending channel is clearly around those ranges. Now my question is, if we are going down the way and break through the $700 support area, which is this one right here, if we break down the way, then we have high probabilities of touching the $600 area, because that would mean something around 17 to 18%. And the current situation from the top is almost the same. Let me just make sure to have this visible for you. It's 20% from the top, from 840 till the current price is 20% that we just had a crash. We might have a slight recovery and then another round if it's breaking out of the $700 area support, right? So then you can see another 20% down the way and Ethereum touching 600. Compared to the other cryptocurrencies of the market, just keep in mind this volume, huge volume here for the Ethereum selling pressure. Let's head over to BTC. Take a look at the volume chart. Do you see anything like that in the BTC here? Because I don't. I can't see anything. There's no insanely huge red line going up like crazy, representing the biggest selling pressure. There's nothing like that in the BTC. Just look at that. And the market is coming on the same way with smaller volumes. Just going to measure 7% compared to 20% for the Ethereum. There is a big difference within the crash for sure. The entire space is suffering because it's controlled by the media from this perspective, and the crowd is of course reacting to this as they're not pretty much prepared to handle all the pressure that's coming. And if the whales are pushing the market even lower, then of course it's just add up and providing more pressure. Now we do have a nice supporting area, exactly like it happens with the Ethereum. And from the way it looks like, we do have some great patterns over here, as long as we are going to get support from the $9,000, slightly above $9,000 support area for the Bitcoin compared to dollar Bitfinex exchange 2-hour candlesticks as well. This one right here is where we have to react with buying pressure. As long as we do that, we're going to keep the market continuing to grow. Now, like I said, a lot of the people start waking up because there is nothing officially pronounced. So we don't know if it's existing any sort of meeting around this topic or not right now, right? So that's pretty much what I wanted to share about. Hopefully it's not a long video presentation. If you have enjoyed, feel free to like, share, subscribe to this video. There's a place where you can comment and talk your opinions about this whole story that's going around. And hopefully you will revisit my videos in my channel. I talk about ICO reviews. I do have a one-on-one coaching and do a lot of the things around the ICO market, do technical analysis, and share with you useful content for crypto world, right? So thank you so much. See you next time.